we, all of us, have been given light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, we now don't feel like we're alone. We now know that the most powerful nation in the world is warning our government. They're telling them, we're watching what you're doing with your citizens. We're watching, and if we don't like it, maybe sanctions, whatever, they're putting pressure on the British government.
We have a very special guest today. Last time I saw him, it was in front of the Union Jack. Today, it's in front of the Stars and Stripes. I'm talking about my old friend, Tommy Robinson. Great to see you in America.
It's great to be here as well.
We're physically in the office of General Flynn, which is sort of incredible. But I think even more incredible is that you're here in America at all. I mean, how did you get in? A year ago, my God, you were in prison in solitary confinement. The world said you were done. Today, you're on top of the world in America. How?
Do you know, I ain't stopped smiling since I got here. I feel relaxed. I feel comfortable. Do you know, I thought about exactly what you just said last week. I thought about the last 12 months. I thought, what's happened in the last 12 months? Jeez, I spent 7 months in solitary confinement. Then we done September 13th, the biggest event in British history. Now I'm standing in the United States of America. Do you know, I got a day's notice of this. I got a phone call. I was in Spain. No, I was in Portugal, but I had a rental car from Spain. So I was in Portugal, and I'd left after I got the ISIS threat. So I got a fatwa from ISIS. I was named in their publication. So I left the country, and then I'm sitting there, and I got a phone call saying, "Yeah, you need to get back to the UK." I was like, "Why?" I said, "Get to the American embassy. You're getting a waiver." Yeah.
And let's just stop there for a second, because strict interpretation of the law, you have been convicted of various offenses that would normally bar you from America. And Donald Trump is very hard on immigrants. For you to get a special permission from the State Department to come in, there's a lot of meaning there.
I had to write out, and they went through each of my convictions. Yeah, so I had to sit in the American embassy. This was a few months ago, and I went through my convictions and what happened in my convictions and explained each of them, because they're convictions. It's lawfare. It's been a campaign of lawfare
by the government.
In fact, the last two cases that they've prosecuted me on, both judges have ruled I've been persecuted, targeted, and it's been unlawful. Now, why did I win those cases? Because Elon Musk stepped in. Yeah, so Elon Musk stepped in. So those last two cases, I said, it's just like the last 7 cases. Yeah, I would have been cleared. I should have been cleared. I've never been tried by a jury. So I think America are aware, and Donald Trump's certainly aware. They have him down as convicted criminal. If Donald Trump didn't win the election, he'd have spent the rest of his life in prison. Many Americans know this. Yeah, well, they know about the politicisation of the judiciary. They've all witnessed it themselves. They know about my story. I've had Americans stop me here. Police officers stop me here. You're the guy they sent to jail for speech. So that's the American view on it. Remember, America has a very different view to free speech than Europe does and Britain does.
But it shouldn't, because Britain was where we got our free speech from. Britain was where, the Magna Carta limited the crown and John Milton. You guys, the Brits, were where it started. That's where Parliament came from. How come the mothership is losing its freedom, whereas America seems to be getting it back?
Well, they have a constitution. And fear is paralysing, and fear of being branded racist, fear of cancel culture, fear of losing your job. And they're legitimate fears, remember. People do lose their jobs. People have been cancelled, and people do want to attack you. Violence within Britain. And the government want to imprison you. So innocent people have been in prison. We've seen it. The weaponisation of the courts and the judiciary. So I think it's legitimate that people have been scared. But I'm blessed to be in the United States of America. As I said, fight like a Flynn. We're in General Flynn's office, a gentleman who I've watched for years, had the utmost respect for. In the last 72 hours, I have met some incredible characters. My feet haven't touched the ground. And I'm sitting with such influential people who each one of them, I recognise it, are thanking me. And for me, it's like, I'm hated in British Parliament. There's 650 MPs. They look down their nose upon us. I went to Denmark and got a standing ovation in Parliament. I went to Poland and was invited by members of government. I got a state visit. I got a state visit by Israel. Now I'm in the United States. I've just come out of a meeting with Congress. So for me, I feel vindicated. I feel like we've kept in the fight the whole time. And although the British government have always attacked us, the rest of the world is looking at things very differently.
Let's just spend one more minute on Elon Musk, because he took over the payment of your fees. We used to crowdfund your legal fees, and he said, no, we're going to make it. It was a stand he took, which was very bold, and he appeared at your September 13th rally on that giant screen. I think he makes a difference in so many ways, not just as an industrialist, but as a free speecher.
Do you see there's a massive, I'd call it a political revolution and a cultural revolution currently happening in Great Britain. None of that would be happening if it wasn't for Elon Musk purchasing X. None of it. The country would still be asleep. People would still be scared. People wouldn't be speaking out. The million people you saw on the streets, none of them would have been there. He literally, and I was down, Ezra. I've been down lots of times. I've been up and I've been down, and sometimes I felt defeated. And literally I was defeated, and he literally picked me up. And that was just by, when I say pick me up, he picked us all up. He gave us a platform and a voice where people can listen to what we're saying, and that can change public opinion. And not just change public opinion, it can give courage to the public to speak up and start addressing and talking about these issues. And that gives courage to politicians, and that gives courage to journalists. And then before you know it, there's a big open, free discussion being had. And that's what we witnessed happen. So I'm forever grateful to Elon. I'm forever grateful to, I believe that Jordan Peterson played a key part. Before Elon stepped in when I was in prison, Jordan Peterson brought me in from the dark. Jordan Peterson sat down as such a worldwide recognised academic. Thank you, Jordan, and thank you, Tammy. They sat me down, and I feel they brought me in from the dark. They gave me an opportunity to sit down there and tell my story. And that had 4 million views. So when I met you in Canada, that had 4 million views. So I was blessed by that. That's then got people, and do you know how many emails I got when I was in prison from people who said, I wrote you off as a racist till I saw you on Jordan Peterson. So that I know the change that interview had. And then what Elon Musk has done, not just for me, but for Britain, for all of us, is give us a voice. And now I'm stood here, and to be honest, I'd probably be in jail right now, again, if he hadn't defended my court cases. And I've got another court case, Ezra. When I've returned from here, I faced 10 years in prison in October.
Was that the one when the paparazzi stalked you?
Come after me.
So
I turned the camera on them.
And the paparazzi want you prosecuted for taking photos of them, but they're paparazzi.
I faced 10 years for telling them I'm going to come with a camera and ask you questions. Now, again, Elon, as I've sent his lawyer the case files on that, and that he's agreed to support the defence of that. I believe now, I'm not sitting here that concerned because I'll win.
Well, I was there in court when the last judge gave his ruling on this crazy arrest of you under the Terrorism Act. And the judge actually was disgusted.
He was outraged. In both the last cases, outraged. Like, he couldn't believe it. He literally, and when they give I thought when he gives his verdict, it's going to be difficult for him to side with me, but he didn't just side with me in both of them. He went against the police. This is basically saying it's outrageous what you've done. You've targeted him.
I remember a few months before that, you were at a big march against anti-Semitism, and the Jews there were so grateful to have your friendship, but the police sent over a dozen cops to grab you, pepper spray you, and pull you out. And I thought, that many police to arrest Tommy? And I thought to myself, there must be 100 bureaucrats, lawyers, police who do nothing all day but track Tommy Robinson and try and get him one way or the other. It really is a vendetta, and I'm hoping your trip to America snaps them out of that. That judge wasn't happy with it.
I don't think he will snap them out. This is the problem. I don't think they see that, because even the last prison sentence, when they gave me 18 months, they knew the world was watching. They knew everyone seen.
They just didn't care?
They don't care. They don't care. Do you know why they don't care? Because 7 months of solitary confinement damaged me.
I can testify to that. You were wobbled by that. It's a kind of mental torture.
I was still wobbled recently from it. I'm still wobbled from it. So I've still struggled from it. But they know that. So they know that. And what is their purpose? The last thing they want, which they failed at, the last thing they want is the world hearing about their failures, about their policy failures, government failures, about the abuse on free speech, about the oppression of the British public. They don't want the world knowing this, and I'm here to tell the world.
Let's get back to your trip here. First of all, I just can't get over how amazing it is. Like, that must have been approved at a very senior level. I mean, maybe even Secretary of State Rubio, I don't know. But to approve someone who's been convicted time and again by the British state.
Do you know what I think it is? I think it's the American government. They're fully aware of what Keir Starmer done after the riots. They're fully aware of what happened to Lucy Connolly. She was invited here.
And they wouldn't let her go, I think, if I recall.
Yeah, she was invited. She's done 31 months in prison. So they've been watching. And if you listen to Rubio's speeches, if you listen to J.D. Vance's speeches, if you listen to Donald Trump speaking to Keir Starmer, they're fully aware of there's no free speech. They're fully aware of what they're doing to the British public. They're fully aware of the European Union's abuse of power.
And those Europeans want to go after Elon Musk. They want to prosecute him, fine him. Like, they are fighting back, aren't they, the Europeans?
Yeah, they're trying to. But they're fighting back against the most powerful nation in the world, with the most powerful government in the world, with the most powerful president in the world. And a president that believes deeply in freedom of speech. So to Americans that are watching this, I keep saying it, I don't think when they voted for Donald Trump, and they called it a vote to save America, it was far bigger than that. It's to save Western civilization. We, all of us, have been given light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah? We now don't feel like we're alone. We now know that the most powerful nation in the world is warning our government. They're telling them, we're watching what you're doing with your citizens. We're watching, and if we don't like it, maybe sanctions, whatever, they're putting pressure on the British government. So it's great for us. It's a great feeling to know that we have friends who, whether it be friends, I'm not saying they're our friends, but people who agree with free speech. And the speech, from J.D. Vance in Munich and from Rubio. To sit there, from my point of view, we've been silenced. We live in a post-free speech era. Many don't realise that. And to sit and watch those speeches, it just lit me up, just thinking, right, then now they're getting told. They're not going to be able to just continue what they've been doing. So, yeah, I'm blessed to be here, man. I'm blessed to be here. Do you know the love I've been shown, Ezra? My phone from Americans, random Americans, just families, please come to ours for dinner, we'll cook for you, just everywhere. I've got invites to pretty much every state in this country. So it's a beautiful feeling for me to know how attached people have been, how many people have followed my story, and the love that they're showing me is great, man. It's from where I was 12 months ago, or even 9 months ago.
Well, you've suffered for everyone. They saw your suffering, which you chose. I was there in court when you were sentenced to solitary, and the judge said to you, if you take down that offending tweet now, I will lop months off your sentence, and you did not bend the knee. I honestly don't know anyone else in the world who would choose to suffer for extra months on a point of principle. That is extremely rare. I think people see that in you, and I'm not an expert in Christian theology, but I think there's something Christ-like about suffering to aid your fellow man, Tommy. I think that's a reason people love you.
Yeah, well, I think that it was successful. I don't want to say it was successful, but it was successful. 167 million people watched that film. They know the judiciary is corrupt. They know they lied.
What was the name of the film again?
Silenced.
It was about free speech.
Wasn't silenced, was I, guys? How did that work, Justice Nicklin?
Let me ask you about the last day or two you've had here, and don't tell me any private meetings that you have to keep under your hat, but tell me the kind of folks you've been meeting. You just came from Congress. What do you have planned? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people want a piece of you.
We have lots planned. We've got a website, tommyinusa.com. People can follow our journey, follow our story. Lots of important meetings with important individuals. I'm meeting some of the most fascinating people in the world. People I've watched and wanted to shake their hand and thought I'd never get the opportunity to. I'm in the United States. I'm here. I'm enjoying every second of it. Look, the UK population, Islamic population, is at 6%, and since Churchill and Gladstone, not one member of our parliament in all those years, we've had terrorist attacks, children blown up, 26 of them. We've had beheadings, we've had women stabbed in the throat, we've had all these mass killings in the name of Islam. Not one MP has ever mentioned it. The United States population is at 1%. They're already creating a fight back through members of Congress. I just come out of a meeting in Congress. They want to, they're at the point, Minnesota helped. Nick Shirley, and this is the importance of citizen journalism, Ezra. I'd say, Ezra, you were the birth of independent media, in my eyes. You were the first, and look what's come from that. I come from working for you, yeah? And look at now what come out of Nick Shirley, which is the best time for America to realise that they will turn a blind eye for the bloc vote of the Somali community.
So you're connecting with Nick Shirley?
I'm meeting Nick tonight.
I'm meeting
Nick tonight. I'm in Congress interviewing another congressman tomorrow. I met with Carrie Lake the other day, and I've watched her. I watched what they did to her during the election. I'm meeting with some fascinating individuals, and the best individuals, and I'm travelling around America. As I said, I'm blessed to be here.
I hope you can.
And my kids arrive soon.
Well, that's going to be amazing, and you can let your hair down a little bit without the stress. I know that being in the UK is physically stressful because you're always looking out of the corner of your eye. My hope is that you'll have access to some big platforms here. And the biggest of all is Joe Rogan. He's got an attention span. He talks to guests for 2, 3 or more hours. Your story takes a few hours to tell to a newcomer that doesn't know what's going on in the UK. It's my hope that you'll get on some of these big shows. Do you have anything you can tell us about yet, or is it still in the planning stages?
I have non-stop sit-downs, interviews, Lara Logan, just so many people. I've got a long list. Don't have Joe Rogan at the minute.
We got to get him. Glenn Beck?
Glenn Beck, yes. I've spoke to Glenn Beck's team.
He's great.
Yeah, he's brilliant. But I'd like, as you said, to tell my story. Do you know the last thing they wanted? When I first told my story, after 5 years of leading the English Defence League, the first opportunity I got to tell my story was at the Oxford Union.
That was amazing.
And after that, they banned me from every university because they don't want me telling my story.
That video was your first million view video, if I'm not mistaken.
It's the most watched discussion at Oxford University. So it was an ability for me to sit down in a calm environment and tell my story with evidence and warn people. And the reason why I think I come to America 10 years ago with a warning to America, which is what I'm here to do, warn America. I wish someone come to the UK 30, 40 years ago and said, listen, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to happen. I'm not talking about what I've read in the book. I'm talking about life experience. I can tell you mass immigration, what it's going to do. You're going to become a minority. This is what's going to happen to freedom. This is what happens with Islam. This is what happens with the police. This is two-tier policing. I can talk about every single aspect of it in a long-form discussion. So I'd love the opportunity to tell that story. And it's important for me, it's important for Britain, it's important for America. Because the same problems over the last 8 years by Joe Biden, they're flooding in here.
I think Joe Rogan would have the patience to listen. He'd have smart questions. He's very respectful of controversy. I think that would be a wonderful interview. Last question, Tommy, and thanks for letting me catch up with you. Ordinary people who support you probably want to come and hear you speak. And I know you did a couple of events in Canada. You just did a big event in Israel. Of course, your massive events in London. Do you think you're going to have any occasions where you might give a speech in Washington or LA or something that ordinary people can sign up for and get a ticket to?
Will you sort that out? Because I can't.
I'll help. Oh, yeah. Love to.
I'm just literally, I said my feet have not touched the ground every minute of every day. I'm no good at that.
I'd love to help.
Yeah. Help if you can. Because you know what, more than anything, which is why we were going to go travel to some American families. So American families have reached out to me. I've always said we're by the people, for the people. I want to meet normal people. I want to meet the people.
I think people would fill an auditorium to hear you give a talk, like a presentation.
Yeah, I'd love to.
All right.
I'm here for a little while. Let's put it that way. Obviously, I've got my event on May 16th in the UK. Going to be the biggest event. You coming?
I'll be there.
Yeah. It's going to be the biggest event. So I've got a lot of work to do around that and a build up to it. But at the minute, I'm as I said, I'm waiting for my family to arrive. I'm going to enjoy a real relaxed time. I'm going to work like crazy. Anyone who's been watching our content we're producing, we're going to non-stop. We're non-stop whilst Aidan, the main man, is here. He goes home in probably 10 days. Then I'm having some time with my children and I can't wait.
I'm really happy to hear that. Your kids obviously have paid the price their whole life. They're proud of their dad. I've met your kids. They love you. And they believe in what you're doing. But just to have some normal time with dad, doing fun stuff in America, which is great for road trips. It's bigger than the UK. You can stretch your legs.
I said my son arrives tomorrow. He can't wait, man.
Well, that's wonderful. Listen, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you. I remember when I visited you in solitary confinement in that prison, and I could see what they were trying to break you, and they didn't. And here you are. I think you're on top of the world, and I can hardly wait to what you do next. Congratulations to you. And on behalf of everyone around the world who loves freedom, who loves the UK, and who is worried about the things you have exposed, thank you for keeping up the fight, my friend, and all the best.
Thanks for always being there.
There he is, Tommy Robinson in America. Who would have thunk it?
Come on.